What's up guys, Matt from footballboots.co.uk, and today we have the all new CR7 Discovery Pack Superfly 5. I've got it in hand, but I've also got it on feet, so let's take it out for a little test run. So let's start to talk about the actual fit and sizing. Now there's no doubt the Superfly 5 is definitely a boot which is suited to more players with narrow feet. I've got kind of normal feet so I can get away with it, but if you do have wide feet, then stay away from the Superfly and maybe go for the Hard Venom or also Magista ranges. Now in terms of the sizing, one of the things of the Superfly 4 was that it fitted half a size long. Definitely don't go with that with the new Superfly 5. Go with your true to size. UK 10.5 is spot on for me. So one of the more surprising good features of the Superfly 5 is just how comfortable the boots are. If you do have normal or narrow foot like me and you can fit in the Superfly 5, then you can experience some really nice comfort within the boots. You've obviously got that flying base and you get that very nice sock sensation because of the knitting material within the boot. The Nike skin on top is a little bit stiff, but after a few sessions they do become very comfortable. So if we take a closer look at the Superfly 5 and break down its technologies, there's three main features to look at. It obviously features that new speed rib upper, which is just there to enhance real nice close ball control when dribbling. There's also those fly wire cables which integrate the laces onto the sole plate, which is there to enhance a very locked down and responsive fit. And there's also a finishing layer of ACC, which is just there to enhance consistent touch in wet weather conditions. So of course the most dominant feature of the Superfly 5 boot is the dynamic fit collar. That means that the boot itself has a mid-cut silhouette. Although Ronaldo doesn't actually prefer this type of dynamic fit collar, he wears a shortened version, but there is still a slight collar that hugs around the ankle for a more sock-like fit. So if you were to ask me one of my favourite features of the Superfly 5, it's no doubt the new sole plate. I really like the carbon fibre of the Superfly 4 and also previous Superfly models, but what Nike have done, they've taken away that carbon fibre and given it an all new layered nylon chassis sole plate, which I was first a little bit dubious about, but it's very responsive still, just like the carbon fibre. It's incredibly thin, and they've also got that new stud configuration on top, which really complements the overall sole plate, and it is a very responsive boot. That's exactly what you get with the new Superfly 5. So we've obviously got an FG pair of Superfly 5s, but the Mercurial range also come in an AG sole plate, which would be great on this 3G surface. Now the FG pair have these chevron shaped studs which are triangular in shape, and they're very aggressive. It may even be too aggressive for a 3G pitch. So the AG sole plate is brilliant because it has circular studs with some holes near it as well, just to allow for the actual rubber crumb to move inside and give you better traction and a little bit less responsiveness, which is also a good thing because it reduces the risk of injury. So let's talk about the overall performance of the Superfly 5 and also why CR7 wears it. We're going to break it down into three factors why it's such a good performing boot. The first off is because it's actually quite lightweight. It's not the most lightweight boot on the market, but you definitely do get a lightweight feel. Now let's talk about the two most important factors and why it makes the Superfly 5 such a great boot. High level traction because of that FG stud configuration is probably my favourite stud configuration on the entire market, and also that sole plate is incredibly responsive. So they're the three main factors. You've got lightweight, responsiveness and high level traction. So a really good feature of the Superfly 5, but something that isn't spoken about much, is the boot's durability. It is very, very good, especially for a speed themed boot. Nike have made this boot with incredibly high levels of craftsmanship, and there's also an additional layer of synthetic across that toe box just to help with some sole separation. So in line with durability, the Superfly 5 shape and structure will last a very long time as well, especially compared to a leather football boot, and that's because of that new speed rip upper, just holding the shape incredibly well. So what sort of players are best suited to the Mercurial Superfly 5? Now obviously CR7 wears this boot himself and he's a forward, so they are best suited to wings and forwards, like a lot of touches on the ball and overall a lightweight boot. You're going to see the likes of Alexis Sanchez, Paulo Dybala and also Anthony Martial wearing this boot, so they're definitely a boot for someone who wants a very lightweight, speed-themed boot, wings and forwards. So with the Mercurial Superfly 5 being the elite model, you're going to find it costs £265, $330, but there's also some scaled down versions of the CR7 Discovery Pack, which is the Veloce 3D-F, which costs £150, $180, and also the all-new Victory 60F, which is £75, $90, which are all really good examples of dynamic fit collared boots in the new CR7 Discovery Pack colourway. So of course this Discovery Pack colourway is the third chapter in CR7's story created by Nike. The first chapter saw the Savage Beauty enter the fray, which is a black base coat with some really nice lava themed graphics, and then the second chapter was the Natural Diamond Pack, which is a really nice royal blue colourway with some rough touches at the side of the boots. This third chapter is probably my favourite, which takes inspiration from his sport in Lisbon days early in his career. Now if you do want to purchase these pair of boots, then head over to our website and use the black orange code for 10% off from Level Soccer itself. So let's talk about the overall design of CR7's latest boot, which is called the Discovery Pack. Now it's called the Discovery Pack because it's based on his game for Sporting Lisbon when he played against Manchester United and set the world alight. Gary Neville said to Alex Ferguson that he had to sign this player because he really was that good. Now you've obviously got CR7's little logo here in that bling bling kind of effect, it's also glittering. Now the overall colourway is seaweed, which is on the outside of the boot, combination of Hasta and Volt for that kind of speed rib kind of design, and also on that large Nike swoosh on the outside of the boot. It's definitely a unique colorway. I'm not going to say that I don't like it. It's probably a boot that I'd look onto a shelf and say like, I need that boot. But overall, it's a very interesting look and a probably nice fit for CR7. So to help you guys work out whether CR7's boot is the next boot for you, let's talk about the overall pros. Now you're obviously going to get a very thin and barefoot touch on the ball because that Flyknit and Nike Skin upper is incredibly thin and it has some nice softness to it as well. Now the overall main feature of the boot is the responsiveness and lockdown. The Flywire adds the lockdown and the responsiveness comes from that nylon chassis sole plate and also those FG chevron studs, which are a little bit longer than most FG studs, so you get some incredibly high traction. So you're after a boot which is very performance benefiting, then this is the boot probably for you. So while there's no doubt the Superfly 5 features some brilliant pros which you just run through, the boot also features some cons as well. Now the boot isn't the widest fitting overall, in fact it's actually quite narrow fitting, so if you do have excessively wide feet, you'll probably have to look at the High Venom or Magista ranges. Now alongside the overall fit, you might still experience some heel pressure if you experience them with some previous Superfly models. The Superfly 5 still has that kind of annoying little feeling at the back of the Achilles, which may cause some blisters.